Hey, what's up guys and welcome back. First of all, I want to thank Lori William 7605 for this idea. What if Naruto was the king of curses? Sukuna. Yes guys, I'm gonna be doing What if Naruto was the king of curses Sukuna part 1. Welcome to Anime Symbol, and if you're new, if you want your ideas to be done, because this channel is mainly about doing your ideas, just go ahead and smash that red subscribe button and have a chance for your comment to be put in the polls, and the best comment get the what if done guys. So yeah, here it is, part 1 for you guys to enjoy. Expect more coming soon, it's gonna be awesome. So sit back, relax, and yeah, enjoy. So let's begin now guys. The Elemental Nations. It was a large place, containing countless villages. However, the main 5 villages were Kiri, Kumo, the Hidden Stone, the Hidden Sand, and Konoha. Yes guys, those were the main 5s. They held the strongest might and the strongest powers for a long time now. Well, this is the world as it was now, but back then, before they rose to power, the world was a completely different place. But that story will be told soon. For now, we focus on the village known as Konoha. It was currently nighttime. In one of its many alleys, deep within the red light district. Unlike other parts of the village, the red light district was seen as a more violent, uprun area. There were gangs, organizations. The Hidden Leaf was a very massive place. So yes, all of that was within. However, in one of those alleys, there was a man, currently pinned to a wall by a child. Yes, a child. He was sitting, however, his body was being forced into the wall as a child's hand was pressed against his face. The man was 3 times his size, and yet the child held him there with little to no effort. The child was smiling. Why didn't the man just use his hands, you might ask? Well, that was simple. His hands and legs were broken. As the child looked towards him. Now tell me, why do you think that it was a good idea to attack an unarmed child? Said man was struggling to get out of the child's grasp. As he whimpered in pain, the child finally released him. He tried to move, but his body was in no condition to do so. The moment he turned his head though, his vision swam as pain started to swim through his skull. He could barely see out of his right eye because it was now covered in blood. The child had hit him with something. One might say it would be impossible for a child to cause such a wound with just his hands. It must be a weapon, right? But no, it was his bare hand. The man screamed out in pain as the child slammed his hand into his throat, causing the man to choke, his voice coming out raspy and distorted. Why do you cry? You were going to do the same thing when you saw me, didn't you? Believing that this was the right place and the right time to take out your frustration on this harmless child that you see as a demon. And yet, now that you're suffering in agonizing pain, you dare cry. I know. The child pushed his hand forward and grabbed the man's tongue. A wicked grin as the man's eyes were pleading for him to stop. And yet, he ripped it out. Blood splattered everywhere as the child laughed demonically. The man was now choking on his own blood as he spat and hurled, pain coursing through him. Before any else could leave his lips, which would be mush by now, the child raised his feet and slammed it into his face. He didn't stop. He brought it back down again, and again, and again, and again. He laughed the entire time. The man's head was smushed. It was completely destroyed, broken against the metal pipe behind him. His body slumped over. There was no longer any movements, aside from a few twitching, while those soon came to an end as well. The child then rested his hand on the man's chest as he dug his fingers into his flesh. The man's body then started to heat up. Smoke and steam were escaping from his broken face before his whole being was set on fire. The child watched in fascination, a fun little smile on his face, as he watched the body burn and distort right in front of him. "Well, that was fun," he said. He bent his knees and leaped as he landed on top of the building. As he did, he spread his arms. As he looked around the village, a wicked, psychotic grin on his face, wishing there was more to fight, wishing there was more to torture. However, they were rare. So with that, he skipped along, making his way from building to building. As he moved, his blonde hair could be seen. His blonde hair was pulled back and spiked. His eyes were dark blue. He looked no older than 6 years old, which was a testament to what he just did. His name was Naruto Uzumaki, a resident of Konoha. But he wasn't just any child though. As he landed, his hands were devoid of any blood as he burned it off his skin. So was his feet. The thing was, he wasn't wearing a shirt. He was just wearing some black pants and black sandals as well. Walking towards an apartment building, he heard a voice. "You know, if you keep on going around like that without a shirt, you're gonna get a cold." "Nah, I'll be just fine," he said. "I've never been sick, and I doubt it will happen anytime soon." "I guess you're right on that one," the voice said. "Why are you even out this late, Naruto?" It was a feminine voice. "Just doing a couple of errands," he said, glancing over towards one of the females that worked at the brothel that was close to the apartment building that he lived in. They knew him quite well in the red light district. They were a part of the few people that did not hate him for what he contained. But those who hate him, though, he could give a right ass. As he made his way inside. As he stepped inside the one-bedroom apartment, he simply went towards the bed and jumped inside, placing his hands behind his head. He didn't have much to do. Now you might ask, why did he end up like this? And why he was just torturing a man? Well, it was simple. Ever since he gained awareness, he knew that he was no normal child. Yes. Ever since he's been in the academy, starting chaos, provoking people to attack him to see what they were capable of. That should not be the main instinct of a child, but yet, he enjoyed it. He enjoyed to cause misery. He enjoyed causing chaos. Growing up, it wasn't hard to realize that he was different, more ways than one. And it wasn't hard to find out that he had the demonic fox seal inside of him. He found it out on the first night. That was when he was 5 years old, when two drunks decided to attack him. He tortured them bad for them to spill everything. and he found out what he contained. He kept that to himself that he knew. But he could tell that wasn't the reason why he was so different. For one thing, he did not feel sympathy for any humans. He'd talk and speak to humans on a daily basis. Even that, he called them humans, as he didn't know why he saw himself as something else. Something far greater, something superior to them. However, what was a pleasant surprise was a heat that was inside of him. He was able to produce fire, and it was truly amazing. He could burn a human body in a few seconds, maybe one if he put his mind to it. Yes, he was truly better than all of them. He glanced toward his hands. He was not sure what he was. He was far stronger than anyone his age. His strength would rival any adults. But he was not so sure about the Jonins or the hierarchy ninjas in the village. However, he knew from when he was 5 years old, the first time he took someone's life, that he truly was not like them. He wasn't sure what he was, but he was far better and superior. And there was just not enough chaos in the world that he could enjoy. However, soon enough, he will be going to the academy. Yes, the academy here. That should be fun, fighting, and training to become a ninja. He was looking forward to the fighting part. With a grin on his face, he closed his eyes and decided to get some rest. While Naruto was currently sleeping, a far distance away, an unknown location, there was a woman. She had white hair, green eyes, like emeralds. Her body was cloaked in a yukata, a battle yukata if need be. As she calmly walked, her destination in front of her. That is when she noticed something, but she did not react. The ground beside her started to move as, coming out of it was a creature, half black, half white. This creature was known as Zetsu. He was a part of a very powerful organization. However, a part or leading was two different things. For now, no one knew the truth. Well, this woman, she knew more than all of them. She spoke in a calm, regal tone. "What took so long?" she said. Black Zetsu seemed to not like her question. "It is not easy to do what I do. Otherwise, you would have been doing it yourself." She glanced towards him, just a single gaze. "If I would have done it myself, your existence wouldn't be needed," she said. "And if I were to get rid of you, that mother of yours will be trapped forever." "Easy now," said Black Zetsu. "I thought we were on the same side. I'm simply showing you that, if I wanted to, your purpose would not be needed. However, you're serving a great purpose, and for that, you shall get what you desire in the end. As long as I also get what I want. We are both after similar goals. We both wish to free someone. So there is no need for us to quarrel. The Akatsuki is coming along just fine. Both of us has waited centuries for this. Well, me more so than you. So a few more years should not be any problem." "Fine," she said. "Have you located all of them?" "Yes. 1 to 9. Unless a Jinjulki dies in the next coming years. We have nothing to worry about." As she simply turned away from him, it was a sign that she was finished talking. As he sank away in the ground, he hated her attitude, the way she acted like she was above him, when she was not the leader. Once he was gone, she glanced up towards the heavens. "I will free you, my lord," she said. Time skip. At Konoha, it was daytime. It was actually the first day of the academy. Hiruzen had gave a speech there, only to return back to his office a few hours past. And now, the problem lay in front of him. On the ground was Naruto. As he was bound in ninja wires, he was tied up. The Anbu that stood behind him, his armor was cracked. Also, the left side of his mask was cracked as well. Hiruzen looked down towards the boy as he shook his head. "What have you done, Naruto?" he said. As Naruto looked up towards him with defiant eyes. "Come on, old man," he said. "You already know why I'm here, so why beat around the bush?" Hiruzen sighed. He's been trying to build a reprieve with Naruto for the past couple of years. Ever since the boy was taken out of the orphanage. Well, kicked out would be the more precise word. And he gave him his apartment. He tried to communicate with the boy. Try for the boy to see him as a grandfatherly figure, someone who was there for him. However, it was hard, because Naruto seemed to have no respect for him or anyone else. And that was the problem. And this was the first day of the academy, and Naruto has knocked out 2 members of the teacher's staff. They will be alright, but that was not the issue here. He glanced towards his envoy and saw the marks on him, which he was sure that Naruto was the one to do before being restrained. "What caused this?" Hiruzen said. "It's quite simple," said Naruto. "I didn't want to wear a shirt, and they're telling me that I had to." "When I saw you today, you were wearing a shirt," Hiruzen said. "Yes, but I got sick of it, so I took it off. And then they started to give me attitude, and I didn't like it. One thing led to another, and yes, they underestimate me, like many has done before, and they pay the price." "Don't worry though," said Naruto with a grin. "I didn't hurt them too badly." Hiruzen frowned at that. "That is not the point," he said, getting a bit serious. "Today is the first day of the academy, and you've already started trouble. Do you want to be kicked out of the academy?" he asks. "Because if this is the route that you're going to take, you will be expelled, and not even my stepping in will be able to help you get back in," he said. "Is that what you want?" As Naruto frowned. "Answer me," Hiruzen said. "Fine, no, that's not what I want. So you will behave. Do you understand me?" he said. "Whatever you say, old man," said Naruto. The way he said old man, it was not as one would say to a grandfather figure. He was actually saying it in a disrespectful way. However, it was hard to define between the two. He looked towards the envoy that cut the wires. The envoy did not seem pleased in the slightest, as Naruto glanced towards him. "Next time, be a bit faster," he said. The envoy would say something, but he remained where he was in his position. "You have to wear a shirt at the academy. Am I understood?" "Fine, fine. I'll wear a shirt at the academy. Can I go now? I mean, it's still going on if I'm not mistaken." "Yes." "And go and put on a shirt," Hiruzen said. As Naruto nodded his head, he was dismissed after that. Hiruzen dismissed the envoy as well as he sat down in his chair, not understanding where this behavior came from. Minato was a calm, gentle person. Kushina was sometimes irrational and quick to anger, but this was not fitting of her behavior in the slightest. She was much more subdued than this when it comes to Naruto. And the respect area, he's gotten so many complaints in the past year alone. It was staggering. He just hoped by Naruto making some friends, it would mellow him out and allow him to be more calm in situations that was not needed for any violence. At least that is what he hoped. Time skip. Hiruzen sat at his desk as a man in a lab coat stepped inside. He had a few papers in his hand as he handed them to Hiruzen. "I've never seen anything like it before, Hokage-sama," the man said as he looked down. Hiruzen glanced up towards the doctor/specialist, Yamamoto, specialized in chakra and also the anatomy of the human body. Recently, all the students that were civilian born were tasked to awaken their chakra. Most of them that are from clans are already able to do this. However, a few days ago, something rather terrible happened. Flashback. All of the students were there in the field. Their instructor, a man with a scar across his nose, Aruka Mino, was instructing them how to awaken their chakra. As Naruto was not sure if his chakra was the source of his fire, which he has not told anyone before. After all, the way they described chakra was not the way that he felt when he used his flames. So he decided to step in a line for those who have not awakened their chakra yet. Chakra is a life force of every human being, but that doesn't mean that they have it awakened for what is necessary. A part of being a shinobi, well, the first thing was awakening said chakra. The first week was teaching them about chakra and the human body, and how chakra is used by them. And now it was time for them to awaken said chakra. As the teacher was teaching them how to do so, telling them that they need to close their eyes and search for that warmth inside of them. Majority of the clan members already knew how to do it. The first one to get this done was Sakura Haruno, as she felt it bubbling up around her. However, her chakra was so small that it vanished a moment later, as the majority of the other students started to awaken theirs. That is when it happened, as Naruto felt something inside of him. However, unlike the others, he could actually see something. Naruto found himself in a strange place. There was bars in front of him, small human bars. He reached out, only to see a hand extended from it. Most children would jump and run away, but that was not his style. Instead, he grabbed onto said hand, wondering who or what the hell this was. He then yanked it. The next thing he knew, his body was assaulted by power. In the outside world, everyone was shocked, stunned, frozen. Naruto has already made a name for himself, a reputation as the bad boy. Someone not to mess with, someone dangerous and do irradical stuffs. But when this happened, Aruka snapped his head over as he was hit with an intense wave of chaos. A malicious feeling that swallow and swell. It exploded outwards. Every student around Naruto collapsed immediately, their mind being unable to handle the strain as he passed out. Aruka collapsed down to the ground as he passed out as well. Every single faculty inside the building collapsed. The whole village felt it, a demonic presence that watched over them. Naruto on the other hand, he felt amazing, uncontrollable power coursing through his veins. He was not sure what this was, but this was definitely not chakra. Just another reason why he was better than all of them. As he laughed, he threw his head back and laughed. Strange black markings started to appear over his body until he heard, "Naruto!" The black markings vanished as he stopped, drawing on this power, as he turned to face the Hokage and his envoys, who seemed ready for war. In the flashback, Hiruzen had tests done on Naruto, which was a problem in itself, given Naruto's behavior, and now the doctor was here, with the result of everything that was done. "What am I looking at?" Hiruzen said, as he was also confused himself. "I am not quite sure, sir, but whatever this thing is, it's not chakra. I've never seen anything like this before. That night, I was also here in the village when that beast attacked us all. And this and that is two different things." As Hiruzen looked up towards him, "You have your theories," he said. "Only one." "What is that?" "That somehow the boy's chakra and the beast's chakra got entangled so much, it created something new. Something far more powerful. Something so potent that he was able to knock out every single faculty member and all the children in the academy with just one single dosage. Hiruzen raised the eyebrow at that. Could this have anything to do with his erratic behavior? You've seen it. Know that you speak of it. Yes, I believe so. Maybe. The beast's hatred and rage has tempered the boy's own personality into something unrecognizable. This has been with him since his birth, so it would be the main cause of everything. However, this is just a theory. I'm not sure myself what exactly this is. Hiruzen frowned at that. Meanwhile, with Naruto, he stood in the forest without his shirt on as he looked around. Now that he awakened this strange power, this cursed power inside of him, he didn't know why, but curse, it suited it. He could feel something wrong. Something was wrong with him. His body. He felt a bit of a... what was the right word? Limitation. Yes. Somehow there was some limits on him. He was not sure why, but something was missing. Part of him was gone. Not there. The deeper he tried to seek out this power, something went wrong. It happened a few minutes ago. Flashback. Naruto was diving into this power, so he came in the forest so he would not be bothered. The problem was, images started to assault his mind as he tried to dive into this power. Strange images of himself. However, the man that he was looking at was not a boy, but a man. A full-size adult. What the hell? He was fighting someone, but he could not see who it was. Chaos reigned. Destruction. The air was polluted. It was so wonderful. He had no idea where this place was. Before he could go any further though, he reawakened in this pretty flowery world. As he frowned to himself in the flashback, he didn't know what that world was or what exactly was going on, but this cursed energy was limited, almost like he was not fully there. This was the first time he was feeling this way. Maybe it was because he just awakened this cursed power. Damn it, what is missing? Damn it, he yelled as he threw his arm out. That is when he noticed something. Naruto stepped towards a tree as there was a slice in it, almost like it had been cut. It did not go all the way through though. Yet, a smile popped up on Naruto's face. A twisted smile. Things are just starting to get interesting, he thought to himself. Time skip. Naruto was lying down on the grass. His eyes were closed, as he seemed to be asleep. Or is he? Naruto Uzumaki. His name was called by the sensei of the class. That was Aruka Mino. Naruto! Aruka called once more. Yet Naruto chose to ignore him. Naruto! Aruka said. What? Naruto said back. Aruka frowned as he stepped up towards the boy. That is not the way that you address your superiors. It has been 2 years now. 2 years since Naruto first started the academy. Naruto thought that this thing would be full of fighting. However, all they did was talk. Non-stop talking. And he did not listen. Therefore he was failing big time. And he did not care. How the hell was this even gonna help them become a ninja? Not that he cared about any of that though. All he wanted to do was missions. And see the world for what it has to offer, and yet all they do is talk and talk and talk. God, it was so annoying. Sometimes he just wanted to rip them all apart. Cleave them into pieces. Now he was looking up towards the man that said that he was his sensei. However, Naruto did not see him as such. As for Aruka, he did not like Naruto. Aruka thought that maybe the child did not deserve what he was getting. the seal that was placed by the fourth Hokage, would differentiate between him and the fox, but Naruto's attitude was horrible. He treated everyone like they were garbage. Even the faculty, the teachers, like he was above them. He had no respect. He was disrespectful. Majority of the people hate him. And those that did not hate him fear him because of the things that he usually did and the things that he said. Iruka doubted that he had any friends. One would think that might trouble some young person, but Naruto did not care in the slightest. He seemed to think of them as they were pawns, puppets. That is the way he saw all of them. It is your time to participate. I refuse, said Naruto. What? You heard me. I refuse. I thought that fighting was going to be fun, but all of these students in the class are weak and pathetic. Some of them feared him, yes, but that still caused an uproar as many of them started to curse back at him, saying that he was a dead last, that he was lazy, this and that. But he simply laughed at their mockery. This is mandatory. You have to participate, Iruka said. Naruto glanced over as he saw the one that they call Sasuke Uchiha. Fine, he said as he got to his feet. However, remember you were the one that asked me to do this. This was the first time they were actually going to fight. However, they had practice. And Naruto saw. He didn't know why, but he could feel the level of strength and power that each of these students hold. And it was pathetic. They were all so weak. He doubted that any of them could survive a full power punch from him. He was a lot stronger than how he was in the past. The more he grew, the stronger he got, and the darker and tainted his soul got. If he even have one. He was sure by now that he was some sort of demon. After all, normal people had sympathy. They had compassion, but he doubted that he had any. Making his way towards the center of the ring, Sasuke glared at him as Naruto talked and acted like he was better than everyone else. Sasuke, who had went through something big not too long ago, wanted to put this dope in his place. They have never fought before. However, this was a fight that Sasuke was going to show that he was better than everyone else. He had passed all the shurikens and kunai throwing tests, and everyone saw him as this special boy. The girls blushed and go crazy over him. Mizuki, the assistant sensei, was also there as well. He was the one that made things end up this way, because he wanted Naruto to be put in his place. Mizuki hated Naruto with every fiber of his being. Not to mention Naruto's attitude make him hate him even more. And he can't just attack Naruto, so he would allow Sasuke to do it. That is when Iruka explained the rules. He told them to begin. The moment Iruka said those words, Sasuke was about to move forward until, to everyone's shock and surprise, Naruto held nothing back. His speed was unnatural for a boy his age. Sasuke blinked in shock as Naruto was upon him in a few seconds. He tried to block, but despite his arm coming up, when Naruto made contact with his wrist, Sasuke felt an undescribable pain course through his whole body by just Naruto punching his hand. The Uchiha was sent sailing back, or he would have been. Naruto grabbed his leg and slammed him on the ground. Sasuke cried out in pain. Iruka shot forward to stop Naruto. As Sasuke was taken out of commission with his whole body being slammed viciously into the earth, his head hitting the ground as well. Everyone winced in pain as they saw that. Naruto held his hand up. Iruka was not expecting this level of strength. He thought that Naruto was just all but talk. And yet, now was the big display that they were waiting for. It was over. Iruka arrived and grabbed Naruto by the hand, stopping him before he could. Naruto's other hand flexed as he was about to tear into the man's chest. When you remember what the old man said, as he stopped his hand, if he did not go through this stupid academy, They might make him become a civilian. Although, he could run away from the village. That was too much hassle, he thought to himself. Besides, he still needed to eat, and he needed money. And he would like to kill people to get paid. After all, that was the basic concept of being a ninja. That's enough, Haruka said. As he released Naruto and stepped towards Sasuke, he noticed that there was blood on the ground. The back of the Uchiha's head was bleeding. I'm going to take him to the infirmary. Take over, he said to Mizuki, who nodded. He picked up Sasuke as the girls watched in fear. Naruto stepped out of the ring. All of the girls turned their sight upon him to try and scare him. However, when he looked towards them, what? They all turned away. As Naruto merely walked back and lied down where he was. This was a completely waste of time. As the years passed, the nastier Naruto got, the stronger he got. All the children refused to fight him. Haruka actually speak to the Hokage about this. Naruto was far stronger than all of them, and he was hurting them when he fought them. Bones has been broken. Deep wounds has been caused by his nails. As Naruto refused to cut his fingernails, and they were getting sharp, almost animalistic. So they banned him from fighting the other children. They have already seen what he can do. And also, he always caused problem whenever the chance came for him to fight, so win-win for everyone. As Naruto did not care much, all he wanted was to get out of this damn academy. It was a completely waste of time. However, something rather interesting happened. Not too long ago. Flashback. As Naruto looked over the dead bodies that were in front of him. Maybe a bit excessive, he thought to himself. As 3 bodies lie on the ground. Well, it wasn't his fault. He was walking by, and they gave him a nasty look. What could he say? He didn't like when people looked at him badly. So he killed them in the most brutalist way possible. By cleaving into them. Yes, one of his new abilities that he somehow possessed now. It was called cleave. He could slash and cleave into people. It depends on the density of the person's body. If they were using chakra, it would be more difficult, but he surmised he could do it on someone less than a Jonin, maybe a Chunin level as well. He's never tested that before though. These were civilians, he thought to himself. That is when he felt something as he turned to see someone watching him. Now that was surprising. Naruto kicked off the ground at blinding speeds. As fast as his feet could go, he appeared behind the person and reached. The person spun and clashed. With his nails, they used a tanto that was on their back. Who are you? Said Naruto. You know what? I don't care. Naruto lashed out and punched the person in the guts. The person seemed rather surprised under said mass. By Naruto's speed, they were launched away. As Naruto leaped forward, both of his hands clasped together. He brought it down on their skull. But before he could reach them though, something jumped right on him. Some sort of beast. Naruto teared into it, expecting to see blood, but ink covered him. He fell, his face covered by the said ink. He was then kicked in the face. He smashed into the building nearby. This was the first time that someone has ever done this. Naruto started to laugh. A sick, psychotic laugh. He picked himself up, the person, pointed their tanto towards him. There was no words. Naruto leaped forward as he clashed with the individual. Sparks fly as Naruto's nails scraped against the tanto. As the both of them clashed together, their hits and attacks clashing off one another. As Naruto stepped in their guard, they lashed out, slashing him across the chest as Naruto tore. However, his hand met resistance. The person was wearing some kind of armor, yet Naruto blood spilled. As he saw his blood, he went more insane, more bloodlusted. He lashed out this time. He got the last hit in, as the individual was sent flying. However, unlike Naruto, they weren't that durable. Bam! They slammed into the building wall. They picked themselves up with pain as Naruto was stepping forward, his eyes almost glistening in the dark. The wound on his chest had completely healed by then. That was fun. Let's continue, shall we? Wait, the person said. I was sent to test you, he said. Test me? Who are you? My master was the one that sent me. And who's your master? Someone that can give you what you desire. We've been watching you for some time. We've seen the people that you've killed. Yet, there has been nothing linking you back to any of these murders. And trust me, people has been searching for these individuals that you've killed. Speaking of, the person looked behind Naruto, the way he tilted his mask as Naruto turned, to see the bodies were gone. Well, I guess I have a little guardian angel. My master has been watching you for some time now, and have seen your bloodlust. My master can give you what you desire. Something outside of this village. A chance to test yourself. We've seen that you've been looking for that. Missions that can bring you great joy in fighting individuals. My test was to see if you were actually worth it. You're far stronger than you've been letting on. Well, I haven't been trying to hide it, it's just no one has ever kept up with me for that long. Except for you. Well, I haven't really fought anyone that dangerous yet. So this was a fun experience. Thanks for that. But I'm still wondering whether I should kill you or not. On the other hand, your master might be able to give me a more better challenge if I go and kill him. But doing so will stop your enjoyment and the missions that my master can send you on. These missions are not like any ordinary Konoha missions. They're far worse, life and death, pushing yourself on a daily basis. There is always a 70% chance of death. Hearing that, a big grin came on Naruto's face. Why didn't you say so? No, that sounds like my kind of fun. Where is this master of yours? He's not ready to meet you as of yet. What? Said Naruto. This was just the first introduction. We will be making contact very soon. The person raised his hand, making hand signs before he vanished away in the sunshine. As Naruto frowned at that. What a tease. Putting some fun on the line and taking it all away. Naruto thought, well, there must be some more fun to do in the meanwhile. Meanwhile that was going on. Bowing, the individual removed his mask. He was no older than Naruto. Dark hair and dark eyes. Report. He looked up towards a man known as the Yami of Shinobis. His name was Danzo Shimura, former teammate of Hiruzen Sarutobi, a very powerful man within the village as well. The boy, known as Sai, spoke up. It is true after all the reports, my lord. His whole personality is based on testing himself. He has no former goal or set intuitions from what I could see. He only seemed to enjoy the thirst of a good battle. Danzo was surprised by that. That was rare nowadays, given the modern time of ninjas. In the past, there was many people that loved to excel in testing themselves, only living for next fight. However, he was rather shocked when the guards that he had set to watch the nine-tailed Jinchuriki came and informed him that the boy had been spotted killing someone in the most gruesome and brutal way possible, laughing the entire time as he was doing so. That piqued Danzo's interest, so he decided to put more guards on the boy. When he saw that the boy was truly something dangerous, he started to clean up some of his messes that he left, for anything to be linked back to him. Danzo has gone out of his way to make sure the boy was not discovered by Hiruzen. The child could seem to care less though. His thirst and bloodlust seemed to have no limit. He was truly something different, as expected of a Jinchuriki, but, well, Danzo was gonna have a good time molding this one to become his weapon of destruction, his agent of chaos. He thought with a smile on his face. He thought he would have to be the one to bend and twist the boy morals. But this was good. No, this was wonderful. Time skip. It had not been too long. Danzo has been still watching the boy. However, today was a big day. The finals of the academy. Naruto did a written test not too long ago. He was then taken from the academy. Things was gonna be different for him. Unlike the other students who possessed chakra, he possessed something different. To this day, Hiruzen and the doctors that did some research have not found any solution to what this was. Naruto called it cursed energy. For one thing, it was energy, and it felt tainted and cursed, so that is what he called it. Over the past few years he has grown up. His hair he had cut it and kept it short. It was still pulled back. His eyes were even deeper than before. He still hated wearing shirts. However, some situation it was mandatory. And that is what he hated the most. His attitude has not become better, in fact, it has become worse. He didn't really have any friends, and he did not really care, because he did not see these people as worth his time. All he wanted to do was get ready to go out in the world and do as he pleased. And this was just wasting time. Unlike the others, though, he was given a test to see his battle capability, because he was not going to be able to do what the other children can do. So they want to see if he can at least protect himself in a battle wise. He has not fought anyone for some time now because of what he has done to the students while battling them. So Hiruzen wanted to test him with someone else, someone greater than him, to see how much he was able to stack up to the individual. Hiruzen Sarutobi stood as he was looking at Naruto. Despite Naruto's growth over the past couple of years, the man in front of him was much larger. Yes, he was wearing a bear mask. His name was Kuma. Behind him was 3 other Anvus. Kuma was physically stronger than all 3 of them. That is why Hiruzen had him test Naruto here. From all that he got from Mizuki and Haruka, Naruto's physical strength was beyond what they experienced in any other kids. And they did not know if he was truly using it to its limits or if he held back on his punches. Hiruzen didn't want to chance it because this unknown energy was something that he's never come across. So he might as well have the strongest one go at it with Naruto. And that is why Kuma was here. Kuma looked down towards him. There has been case of people being special for their age. Itachi Uchiha and Kakashi Hatake come to mind. However, in terms of physical attributes, he was outshining them when he was even younger than them. Yes, he was quite a specimen. He might not be as strong as Tsunade Senju. However, his raw strength was immense. He looked over towards the Hokage, who seemed 100% serious about this. Naruto, on the other hand, was grinning ear to ear to fight a beast of a man like this. He's never fought an Anvu before, as he wondered how fun this would be. Alright, Naruto, Hiruzen said. This will be your test. It will be different from the others. Your goal here is to fight Kuma with what you have, for me to see what you can do. You're quite different from the other students, not possessing chakra like they do. The 3 Anvus were confused by that statement. When they heard it, they didn't understand. However, Hiruzen did not understand even better, and he had years to understand, so it wasn't something they would figure out right away. I want to see what you can do without that source of chakra, instead with that power inside of you. Do you understand? Hiruzen said. As Naruto rolled his neck, he then grabbed onto his shirt as he ripped it off. Hiruzen frowned at that. Easy. You want to see what this cursed energy inside of me can do? Cursed energy, Hiruzen said. Yeah, that is what I decided to name it. As Naruto cracked his knuckles. So, big guy, you ready? Don't worry. I'll try not to hurt you, kid. I was about to say the same thing, said Naruto. Kuma chuckled at that. I like you, kid. However, you're way out of your league here. As Naruto grinned. Let's see about that, shall we? Begin, Hiruzen said. The moment he said that, Naruto sprang upwards. However, the problem was, despite his size, Kuma's speed was shocking. As he dodged and grabbed Naruto by the leg and threw him away. Flipping several times in the air, Naruto came to a landing position, but Kuma's fist was already coming to hit him. Kuma did not go full force, as Naruto was launched back. He crashed hard. Hiruzen stepped forward, but he came to a stop, as Naruto got back up instantly and threw himself towards the behemoth of a man. Kuma brought his fist down. However, Naruto dodged and ran up his arm. He flipped in mid-air as he brought his leg down. However, Kuma lashed out and grabbed his arm and yanked him downwards, smashing Naruto into the earth. He was holding back as he did so. As he held Naruto there, Naruto started to push, surprising Kuma and the other Anvus. Kuma decided to apply pressure as Naruto back slammed into the ground, but yet Naruto kept his hands off him. You're strong, big guy, said Naruto. But I'm not done yet, as he threw Kuma's arm away. In that split second, Naruto's knee smashed right into his face. Kuma staggered back as Naruto's heel smashed across his head. The big man staggered as Naruto thought he had him, but Kuma grabbed Naruto and slammed him into the earth. He picked him up and backhanded him away. Naruto flipped as he landed. He looked towards his arm that felt a bit wobbly as he snapped it back into place. The Hokage might have overestimated this kid, one of the Anvus said. Yeah, I know what you mean. Even if he's strong, he's no match for Kuma. I mean, look, the Anvus was cut off as Naruto started to laugh. The twisted grin on his face. As he brought his hand up, he seemed to be enjoying every moment of this. He clenched both of his fists. This time, there was an unseen force around his hand. It started to vibrate the air itself around him. The toxic chakra, whatever it was, Hiruzen was not sure. Naruto called it cursed energy, started to leak out of him. The Anvus were all shocked as they felt it. It felt dark, unlike anything they ever felt before. It might not be as strong as a Ninetales, but it was so dark, like it was feeding off darkness. As Naruto shot forward this time, leaving indentations in the earth. Kuma tried to grab him, but Naruto vanished. Kuma felt pain as Naruto kicked him in the back. He spun around, but Naruto flipped and launched himself over Kuma. He then twisted mid-air and drove his fist down. Kuma brought his arms up. The ground under his feet cracked, surprising everyone as Naruto flipped and brought his knee to Kuma's face. Kuma grabbed it though as Naruto slipped underneath him. He grabbed onto his right leg and yanked. Kuma flipped though and kicked Naruto in the back as Naruto flipped and rolled. He jumped up to the sky as Kuma jumped as well. He was about to wrap Naruto into a bear hug and squeeze. Yet Naruto's knee slammed into his nose before he could. Naruto then used his arms as a pogo stick and threw himself upwards. He then spun in mid-air before shooting himself back downwards, driving his leg towards Kuma's face. Kuma lashed out with a brutal punch. Both things made contact in mid-air. As both of them were knocked away, Kuma landed on his feet as Naruto flipped and crash landed a bit. Despite that, the grin never left his face. He charged forward only for Hiruzen to appear and stopped him. Alright, that is enough, Hiruzen said, putting the match to an end. The Anvu members made their way towards Kuma. For a moment there, I thought that... Don't get me wrong, Kuma said. I was holding back, but the more I did, the stronger the kid got. The more we fought, the ruthless he got. And his strength was rising. I actually started to feel his punches. I had to actually put in some force, otherwise I would have been screwed. Hiruzen was looking down towards Naruto, who stepped past him and moved towards the big guy. You're strong, said Naruto. Be proud of that. It's a good thing the old man ended the match. I wouldn't want to kill you. Kill me, said Kuma. You might be stronger than most, kid, but trust me, you're far too young to do something like... Naruto waved his hand. Everyone watching surprised as the tree behind Kuma split. Hiruzen blinked in shock. Naruto, what was that? Well, your chakra can do all sorts of things. So does my cursed energy, said Naruto. Time skip. The Hokage grilled him on what he could do after seeing what he did with the tree. As Naruto let a bit go, but not everything. He didn't tell him anything about his fire ability. Just the cleave that he could perform. As Hiruzen did not tell him if he passed or not. He was just told to go to the academy tomorrow. Naruto did not go home though, he went to the forest. Sometimes when he was in there, animals attacked him, and he had some fun. After all, he was bored majority of the time. He ended up falling asleep right in the center of the forest, only to wake up to hear chaos. As Naruto made his way to find out what the hell was going on, as he arrived towards a strange scene, he saw a giant scroll over towards the side of a tree, and two ninjas fighting. To his surprise, it was Mizuki and Haruka. As Naruto did not expect this, not quite sure what was going on. The next thing he knew, Mizuki saw him and launched something towards him. Naruto jumped out of the way as a Fuma shuriken slammed into the earth. Mizuki then appeared behind him and placed a kunai at his throat. Stop! Haruka yelled, despite him not liking Naruto's attitude. Watching Mizuki kill Naruto in cold blood is something that he will not do. It seems like I've been blessed, Mizuki said, to find you out here of all places. What's going on, said Naruto. Isn't it obvious? I'm finally getting rid of the demon. Mizuki, don't you dare! Come on, Haruka. You and I both know that this village will be 10 times better with him gone. He's vile, disgusting, and just rude overall. The demon has corrupted him. It's time that we just get rid of him. Demon, said Naruto, acting like a fool. Yeah, you don't know. Well, let me enlighten you before your death. It's a secret, Mizuki, don't you dare! He can't take you to his grave, Haruka, so shut the hell up. That nine-tailed fox that attacked the village all those years ago. It's you. Now die! He pulled the kunai away before plunging it towards Naruto's chest, only for Naruto to bring his arm up. The kunai stabbed clean through his palm. However, it stopped because of the flesh not reaching Naruto's throat. Naruto then slammed his elbow into Mizuki's gut, forcing the man to release him. He then plucked the kunai out of his hand. The flesh healed instantaneously as he flexed his arm. Well, well, well. Seems like we have a traitor here. You stole that scroll if I'm not mistaken, and Haruka is fighting you because of it. And not to mention you revealed that I was some sort of demon, and you tried to kill me. The only right thing to do here is to stop you in the most gruesomest way possible. Mizuki reached as he picked up his Fuma shuriken. "You think you can stop me," he said. He launched it towards Naruto. Iruka arrived as he pushed Naruto out of the way, thinking that he wouldn't be able to dodge. He clashed with the Kuma shuriken as he had a kunai. It knocked him back as it slammed into the tree behind him. Mizuki, who took his eyes off Naruto for a moment, which he shouldn't have done, felt something, as it was pain. Naruto's feet smashed right into his face, as Naruto was standing on his face. Before Mizuki could recover though, Naruto stepped on his shoulder with so much force he dislocated it. He then kicked him in the side of the neck. He then flipped and kicked him in the back. Mizuki slammed down to the ground. Naruto stomped into his back as he started to apply pressure. The kunai from before, Naruto grabbed it as he stabbed it through Mizuki's hand, tearing it into the earth. Mizuki cried out as Naruto then grabbed his other hand and pulled it, with his foot still placed firmly into his back. The sounds of bones snapping could be heard as Naruto pulled the kunai out, before he teared it through Mizuki's other hand and pinned it through the other one and pinned it into the earth. Mizuki cried out as he was placed in an awkward position, his arm broken. Naruto then started to kick ruthlessly until the sounds of his ribs being shattered could be heard. Mizuki spat out blood as Naruto was laughing as he did so. Iruka was mortified as he stepped back in absolute fear. Naruto grabbed Mizuki by the neck and yanked him. The kunai was still in place. His fingers got torn apart. As Naruto brought him up to eye level, Mizuki was leaking blood. "You really shouldn't have taken your eyes off me." "Huh, I thought you would have been more fun to keep up, but I guess you're just weak." As Naruto flexed his nails before he drive his hand forward, tearing it through Mizuki's chest and reaching in. He finally felt it as he ripped. Naruto looked down as a beating heart was still beating before, stopping as he tossed Mizuki's body away. He looked over his shoulder with a smile. "Oh hey there, Iruka-sensei," he said. But guys, we end episode right here. If you want to see the next part and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. But I'm off for now. See you guys soon. Peace.